Welcome to the Housing to Hope series, where we engage with members of Atira and our community, including individuals from the housing sector and those with lived experience. Join us as we delve into pressing issues affecting vulnerable individuals, minorities, those experiencing violence, substance abuse, and housing challenges. Our goal is to gather insights, offer hope, and explore solutions to make a positive impact. Today, we are interviewing Deb Jack, one of the longest board members of Atira. She is an arts graduate of McGill University, dedicated her life to community work and urban biodiversity conservation activism. With more than 36 years of experience, as a probation officer, she held various roles, including 22 years as a local manager. Her extensive volunteer involvement spans positions with the YMYWCA BC Corrections Associations and various community roles. Since 1995, Deb has been a steadfast presence on Atira's board, demonstrating her commitment by stepping down and returning 3 times as per the organization's bylaws. Her influence extends to environmental initiatives, where she currently holds leadership positions. One of Deb's interests spans the decades and focuses on issues affecting seniors and retired persons. She is a grandmother and brings that perspective to her commitment to contribute to the community. Thank you for joining us, Deb.
My pleasure.
So, as one of the longest serving board member of Atira, you must have witnessed the evolution of its journey. Could you share insights into who Atira was when you started and joined the board, and elaborate on what aspects of Atira motivated you to commit for the extended duration that you have?
When I began, Atira was one transition house in Surrey, initiated by University Women's Club here. So I was asked if I would be interested in joining the board, and because issues of violence and abuse of women and girls had been a concern and an aspect of my job, I said yes, and here I still am because of the fantastic job that Atira as an organization has done over the years. And perhaps we'll be able to get into that further. But we had one house. We used to meet in the living room, sort of. And we were involved in all aspects of what was going on as a board. And then we expanded from the one house to second stage housing. Then this is not a perfect timeline, okay? But then we also were the first organization to have a senior women's transition house, because the needs of senior women are different from the women who are younger. And there's a lot of senior abuse that goes on. So that recognition, and for the longest time, we were the only organization that had a facility like that. And I don't know where else. I imagine that other places finally have begun to do that. Then we went into things such as the Max Wright Center, because there was such a community need. There's Little's Place, I'm just talking about what's in Surrey. Then we saw that there was a need in Vancouver, downtown Vancouver. And so we expanded there. We developed, and I say we collectively, that's because I having been a board member all of this time, I think of we all the time. So we then went into daycares, for example, and the programming was trauma-informed, which is needful for the children of abusive relationships. Very much so. Then we had a contract for providing legal services in downtown Vancouver, and innovative things occurred there with regards to, for example, the individual that we hired, eventually we were able to arrange so that that person could do their articling while working with us after law school. And ultimately, one of our staff argued before the Supreme Court of Canada. So all of this stuff, innovative, acquiring an historical building in downtown Vancouver and using that, fixing it up and reusing that as a facility for younger women. Building a residence for people out of shipping containers. That was one of the neatest things. The innovation in terms of hiring people we had served, which I continue to think is one of the best, arguing for the necessity of 24/7 staffing of facilities. Because when people are in distress and all the rest of it, pardon me, often they want to talk and they need a listener and an assist late in the evening, early in the morning. So that became a very essential thing. Oh my goodness, I could go on. And then we expanded into New Westminster, into Richmond, into Burnaby, and into Coquitlam, where we have the Alex. Just on and on. As an organization, taking a look at what the needs of women and girls suffering from violence and oppression and what they might need, and then looking to how we could answer. And looking at trying to provide resources, programming, etc., that don't alienate the people who need to be served, which, as I understand, often occurs. Oh, and we were called Atira with the first transition house. I remember clearly the retreat that we had, and at the YM Louis building, and looking to what we might be able to do in terms of the skills of our organization to perhaps earn money that would enable us to be less dependent on government funds and donations and further provide services. And out of that arose the Atira property management. On it goes.
That's an amazing story. The way you explained it, it's just very inspirational, and different programs were created. And I think that was the beauty of it. It wasn't just one place, one house. It was more than that.
Developing, for example, we had a van that would go around downtown Surrey at nighttime to provide services for women in need, and particularly Indigenous, Métis, and Inuit women. And this hiring people who we had served, who that concept of lived experience, so that they could in turn provide for the needs of the people we're serving. It's always been that, it's been serving.
With all those memories, and you kind of explained to us, you took us to the journey of Atira from the start. What is specific moments and memories or project that stood out or stand out to you as particularly impactful or rewarding for both Atira or in the community it serves?
Can I talk about the check this time?
Yes.
A number of years ago, Surrey had a program in regards to their mortgages, and it was changed into a housing society. And I got a telephone call saying, we are going to be having Atira being the first recipient of this annual grant, and it's going to be $1 million. So then they said, you cannot tell anybody under any circumstance about this. So I had to live for weeks with this knowledge. It was so exciting. What an outstanding thing we were going to be getting. And then came the day And I'm just about literally at my front door to walk out to go down the old city hall, and the telephone rings. So I go and I answer the phone, and it's my aunt. And she says, "Happy birthday." And I completely forgotten about it because I was getting this check for Atira.
That's an amazing story.
Happened, and it was the very best birthday present I had ever, and to this day have ever received. That was just so great for Atira.
Wow.
What other things have happened? I think the creativity of a facility such as the one that was made out of shipping containers. That's always been a significant thing to me, not the least of which because it wound up having each unit, as terrific as it was, with all of the different facilities like washer and dryer and stuff, half price per square foot as classically built buildings. So that was incredibly innovative and something that I've always thought was a great thing for us to have been doing. And so many of these things arose from staff and the leadership, because they would have ideas, they would see needs, and then figure out, is there a way that we can answer that need? So safe places in town in Vancouver for using drugs, trying to protect with regards to that, and make it safer. Facilitating referrals for special therapies and medical services. That's one of the aspects of Max Right that was created in Surrey, because women who are living on the streets may well feel very apprehensive about accessing professional medical services. And the professional medical services and dental services, they were at Max Right for women to be able to access. Providing meals, all of those different kinds of things. When there were needs, see if we could fill them.
Mm-hmm. Amazing stories. And I love the fact that the evolution of Atira was based on needs. The organization thought of everything. And I think that's what makes the stories to this date great when you're talking about it. How do you see the organization evolving and continuing to make a positive impact in the community moving forward?
Well, what's happening with Atira now is it's becoming more professionalized. And as I was making a note here, because of the increasing size, its scope, its complexity, but at the same time, at least my observation has been, and when you're on a policy board and all the rest, you don't get all of the nitty-gritty details, but preserving the notion that there are needs that we exist to serve. And that's really what it comes right down to. But the fact that we are bigger, so much bigger, I mean, this evolution from one house to what we have been doing and are doing now is quite something. The concept of housing for hope is a great one. At least I believe so. Because that's another thing about which we're existing, is our facilities, our programs, our staffing provide some hope for the people we serve.
Thank you so much, Deb. That was very beautiful and hopeful. And I really enjoyed talking to you today.
Oh, my pleasure indeed. My pleasure indeed.